The new exotic assault rifle, the St. Elmos engine, has been getting a lot of attraction. And that's fair, because this weapon is really good. Now, I remember when I was playing with this weapon in the PTS, before it came to the actual live game, some comments on my video said that this weapon was not going to be good just for the fact that it does not have a damage talent. So, to each their own, I'm not judging you for that. Some people like that and that's totally fine, but this weapon is really good for the base weapon that it is. What I mean by that is a very stable weapon, it's very accurate, has really good range, optimal range, and has 70 bullets on the magazine. And all of that before the talent that it has, right? So with all that said, what I did is I tried to put this build together that has a lot of damage for these people that like a lot of DPS, right? So this build, I have 20 million DPS if I go for all headshots, and that's what I try to do always. And you know, this is what I achieve with this build. So with all that said, if any of these sounds interesting to you, a like on this video would be super appreciated though. And yeah, let's get into this. Okay, let's start with the start of the show, right? So this is the weapon, this is the St. Elmos engine, the new exotic assault rifle. This is what everybody's been talking about, what everybody's been using, because as I mentioned again, this is a really good weapon. So taking a look at the stats, this weapon comes with a base damage of 44.2k per bullet. On this build, we're gonna have a total of 104.7k damage per bullet. Currently, the RPM is 978 because of the striker gear set that we have on the build, but the base RPM of this weapon is 850. So for the mag size, I believe this is currently one of the biggest mag size for the assault rifles in the game. It has 70 rounds on the magazine. For the expertise, you can see I have it expertise level 22. And then moving down, we have the core attribute. Obviously, we have assault rifle damage and health damage. And then the attribute, I have damage to target out of cover. Now, as an exotic, this weapon actually comes with a random attribute. And that's a new thing, I believe, for the upcoming exotics. Now they're gonna have random attributes in there, so you can change that, and I have a video on the channel show you how you can recalibrate that attribute, because I do recommend having damage to target out of cover, which is gonna give you more damage for your build. So taking a look at the talent, we have the Actum East, which is the talent that makes this weapon an exotic. So shooting an enemy with this weapon will give you 1 stack, and then at 100 stacks you get a full magazine filled up with shock ammo. Simple as that. And from there you can always refill that magazine again after using all of your shock ammo. So after all of that introduction of the weapon itself, the St. Elmos engine, this is the build that we're gonna be running with it. So starting off with the gear set, we have the striker battle gear set. By equipping 2 pieces of this gear set, we gain 15% weapon handling, 3 piece gives you 15% rate of fire, and then the 4th piece will give you the talent striker gamble. So as we all know, this talent basically, as you hit your enemies, you will be getting weapon damage per stacks up to 100 stacks, and at 100 stacks we will basically get 65% weapon damage to our build. Now that's before we equip the backpack, because if we equip the backpack, which is the case that we have on this build, we'll get an extra talent, which is the risk management. Increase total weapon damage gained per stacks of striker gamble from 0.65% to 1%. All that means is 100% stacks means 100% weapon damage with this backpack on a striker build. With this backpack, we have core attribute weapon damage, attribute crit damage, and then a mod of crit damage. For the knee pads, it's going to be about the same, core attribute weapon damage and attribute crit damage. The holster also is about the same, core attribute weapon damage and then attribute crit damage. And then last but not least, on the gloves, it's a little bit different. We have core attribute armor and then attribute crit damage. Now, this piece of gear right here, this is the only part that we have armor on it, because I did want to get it over 900k armor, and that's close to 1 million armor, right? So that's what I have in here, and I still have that 20 million DPS with this build. So with that said, what's left is the chest piece and also the mask. Starting off with the mask, we have the Coyote mask. This is an exotic mask that's been in the game for a while and is a very good exotic mask for damage and also to help your teammates, because that talent will work for you and your teammates. And also keep in mind, you can stack that talent for everybody that has that mask on a group. So from 0 to 15 meters we gain 25% crit damage. From 15 to 25 we gain 10% crit chance and 10% crit damage, and then from 25 meters and beyond we'll get 25% crit hit chance, which is what I am aiming for on this build, to be honest with you. And then for the last piece we have the chest piece, and in here I am going with a Grupo Sombra. By equipping one piece of this brand set we'll gain 15% crit hit damage, and then core attribute we have the weapon damage in there, attribute crit chance and crit damage with a mod of crit damage. And for the talent we have Obliterated, my favorite talent so far right now for a striker build. So you can gain basically up to 25% weapon damage with this Obliterated. That's basically a glass cannon without the fact that you will be taking damage amplified with a glass cannon. There's no reason to use a glass cannon on a striker build, that's why I go with the Obliterated. Now for specialization though, I did go with the gunner specialization once again. Specialization that I use the most. Now the reason why I went with it is because even though we don't have a lot of armor, but this talent right here kind of helps her out a lot, right? Killing enemies grants 10% armor on kill. And on this build, if we take a look at the defense stats, we have 981,000 armor, right? And that's gonna give us, from that 10% armor on kill, 98,000 armor on kill. That doesn't sound like a lot, but it will add up and help us get that armor back. Now that's not the only reason I like the gunner. We also have this talent right here, which is every third reload is 50% faster, so that's gonna help us get back to shooting fast. And also my favorite right here, which is the barrage. Rate of fire is increased by 5% on kills for 5 seconds. Now with the 70 bullets on the magazine, right, a lot of times I kill one enemies and I still have spare ammo to kill another enemy or maybe two, so that barrage will give me a DPS increase. And with that said though, even though if I reload, keep in mind this weapon has 1.7 seconds of reload time, which means I can still take advantage of that barrage, because on that reload time I still have about what, like 3 seconds to get that DPS increase with that barrage. So yeah, it's a very good talent to add up to this build. The skills in here, this is what I use for legendary. I mentioned that on many of my legendary builds. This is the 2 skills I use for legendary. The assault turret, because it's tanky, it takes the aggro from the enemies a lot of times, and also, you know, it will do some damage to the enemies. And then the shield, because one, it's kind of like an extra health for yourself, and also you can pick on the corners with that shield. That's basically what it is for. So last but not least, let's take a look at the stats for this weapon on this build. We have 104,000 weapon damage, 42% crit chance. Remember, we have the pack instance from that mask, the Coyote mask, that's gonna give us that crit chance. So we're gonna be actually capping at 60% crit chance most of the time. And then for crit damage though, we do have 188% crit damage. Again, depending on the distance, this could go up. Sometimes we might even hit that 200% crit damage for this build, but I am aiming to gain that crit chance instead of crit damage. Headshot damage, we have 75% headshot damage, 21% health damage, and then we have that 10% damage target out of cover. That does not show on the weapon stats, but we know we have it on the weapon itself. And that's basically it, guys. That's the build that I have for you guys. This is what I use for my DPS striker, we'll call it, even though I have one blue in there, but it's my DPS striker with the St. Elmos engine. Now you could go higher DPS on a striker build that has a different weapon that can put a damage talent, but this is what I have for the St. Elmos engine itself, because I do enjoy using this gun. So let me know in the comment section below what other DPS build that you have for your striker builds, and yeah, we can have a conversation down below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoy, a like on it would be super appreciated. Subscribe for more, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Take care, everybody.